asking me questions and
What's going on, kid? It's your favorite uncle. And we have one of my good friends, co-workers, and who would have known one of my good friends and co-workers will become one of the baddest mofos out here and one of the best 2A advocates in the world.
absolutely.
Now,
Thank you.
now, so people don't think I bring a random person on here. Cause from what I remember, man, you was always outstanding officer. But what led you into the world of wanting to be a high level trainer?
I kind of fell into it. Guns is something that I'm passionate about, obviously now, but it wasn't always that way. I actually wanted to kind of stay away from guns and law enforcement and that whole aspect until I actually got into the field. Then I just became kind of just addicted to it just from the very first shot that I've actually had just when it came to a firearm. And I've always been in roles, especially just in my law enforcement career, where it came down to me teaching or being a field training officer. And one of those things that it entails is actually just showing new recruits, showing everybody the ropes, showing them basically how it and what it takes to be a law enforcement. So the teaching aspect kind of always been there from it. And when it came to teaching, there was an opportunity for me to actually become a firearms instructor, and then I just took off with it, and I fell in love. That's my baby right there, as far as just training and teaching firearms.
Hmm. Now, once again, can you break down some of your credentials?
All right, so my credentials. So I have maybe close to 20 years of just law enforcement experience in general. Right now, I'm currently a federal police officer. I hold multiple licenses as far as a federal firearms instructor, as well as Maryland State firearms instructor as well. So I train both aspect. I've trained, I don't know, maybe close to 500 to 1,000 different police officers just on the range. Same exact thing, but the numbers aren't exactly that high as far as just in the state of Maryland. I hold various other instructorships, the NRA, like I said, Maryland State. All my credentialing that I've been certified in has basically came from FLETC, which is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, which is actually down in Glencoe. So I'm actually getting ready to go back down there and actually pick up some more certifications down at the academy. But for those of you who don't know what the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center is, it's a central hub where every single federal law enforcement goes through to basically receive training, whether it comes to use of force, whether it comes to firearms, whether it comes to driving, law, and things of that nature. And those agencies are like the Secret Service, the Capitol Police, U.S. Marshals, ATF, DEA, and the new favorite one that's out there, which is ICE. They're going to be down there as well, so I have to train those guys as well. So don't beat me up too much, but they have to go through the training as well.
Now, one thing about training, can you please break it down for those who do not know the process of taking someone who don't know nothing about the world of being a professional officer and training them up to being a professional?
Well, the best thing that I strongly encourage is basically people who have no kind of firearm experience at all. Those are the best people to actually teach because they don't have any prior they don't have any prior knowledge, and they don't have any pre-existing bad habits that a lot of people have. A lot of the guys who are actually trained is or they play like the Call of Duties and things like, and just things that they've seen on TV, like John Wick and all that. Yeah, that stuff is cool and everything like that, right? But it's not practical for everyday application as far as what an average civilian would actually be using. And a lot of it is Hollywood magic as well. So if but to answer your question, you were asking me about how to become a law enforcement officer, or as far as just the
Break
getting
down the
into the
process
firearms.
because people think, you go out here and it's just like magic. They don't know the process of really, when you become, you're a civilian in the world, you determine this is the career path I want to take. Can you
Hmm.
take people down the actual process of taking a civilian into a professional officer?
One thing that I strongly encourage if you're actually looking to become a police officer or any type of law enforcement, start off with some kind of security. Get some kind of security experience, to just further your knowledge to actually see if this is something that you really, really want to do. There's a ton of security agencies out here. Everybody wants to feel secure, so it's not going to be hard to find that job. So if you're looking to actually go into law enforcement, because you got to keep in mind, you're going to be trusted to actually carry a firearm. So you got to make sure all your ducks are in a row. I mean, some of the background checks, they go as far as checking your driving record, your credit record, your neighbor references, your background, references going back to your high school, your college. They want to know your friends, family. They want to know everything about you because some of these roles, like if you're with like Capitol or Secret Service, some of these roles you're trusted around the president. You have to be trusted to carry a gun around the president of the United States, or a Supreme Court justice, or some kind of high profile person in which you basically have to be mentally stable and so forth to actually carry a firearm, because that's a whole, probably another podcast where we can get into the whole mental health aspect of that and firearms. But it's, yeah, so it's a lot. So just make sure that you have a squeaky clean background. Do your due diligence. I'm pretty sure everybody knows at least one person in their family in some kind of law enforcement capacity, whether it's security, whether it's law enforcement, or whether it's military. Make sure that you're comfortable actually being able to carry a firearm, and that's my specialty, and that's my job, is to make sure that you feel as comfortable as possible. I love what it is that I do.
You're doing an outstanding job, brother. And one thing, I'm very proud of you because I remember you from back in the day, and seeing the person you are now, I'm just proud of the growth. And it's
Absolutely.
always nice to see someone that you started your career with doing very well,
Absolutely.
especially as a
Thank you.
professional. And my
Thank you.
next question for all these amateurs out here about 2A and some of the misunderstandings about 2A, especially when we have a mass incident. We always see the Breakfast Club, we always see the hip hop stations or the local news always go down that anti 2A path. Now, do you think we have a 2A issue or a mental health issue?
Me overall, I believe that it's a mental health issue. But I can see the argument as far as them saying that it's a 2A, or it's a firearm issue, or it's the AR-15, or whatever the situation is. I can understand both aspects, but you're talking to somebody who has probably 30, 40 some firearms in a safe and everything like that, and I'm mentally fine. I don't have any issues. Do I get mad like some people? Yes, I do get mad at some people. Have I been teased or talked about? Yes, I have. All that stuff has happened to me. But the mentality of you thinking that you're going to just go to one of your safes, like, I can't take it anymore, and want to go shoot up a school or shoot somebody because of that, you got a couple little screws loose, actually going on in your head. So that's why I kind of lean more towards the mental health aspect of it. But overall, there's bad people everywhere, and I know this is always an argument and everything like that, but and then again, this is just my opinion. There's bad people everywhere. We have bad doctors, we have bad lawyers, we have bad mechanics, bad dentists. So it's the same exact thing with us, bad people with guns. But a lot of the issues that we're hearing about on the news, a lot of it is politically motivated as well. People running for office. Oh, we got to get rid of all guns. And of course, there has been some unfortunate, terrible incidents that's actually taken place that are unforgiving. And believe me, if something like that probably happened to me, or close to a loved one, I could probably have strong opinions in that area as well. But overall, the mental health aspect of it, on why I always state that, is that every one of these shootings that actually have take place, they've had some kind of issues actually going on. It was a lady. I wish I had it. I did a video on this. I wish I had the information in front of me. I'm not exactly sure, but it's one of those Midwest states the son was actually telling the mother, and maybe our crowd will actually know exactly what I'm talking about. Those who follow any two-way news, it was a son who was he was screaming out for help, saying that he can't get these evil thoughts out of his head. And he was sharing this with his mom, his father, and everything, and they were blowing it off. And he was just like, "Look, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna do something," and still blowing it off, not taking this kid serious. So take a while. Guess what ended up happening? He ended up grabbing one of those guns in his house and shooting at the school. So like it's things like that that every person who I know, or these cases that you're hearing about gun violence or shootings in schools or malls or any kind of public place, because those are the most likely that those places are actually going to be taking place or in public areas, is their whole background is where it's I think on one side, and I don't want to make this political what we're getting ready to talk about, but or what I'm getting ready to say is like they it was saying that it was trans people, or it's the hormones from the transition of male becoming female or female becoming male, or the teasing, the bullying, and things like that. They've all had some kind of issues or some kind of justification, or even saying that there's aliens that's inside their head, or the CIA is tapping inside of their brain and they're being followed. I mean, they it's all some kind of mental issue that's taking place with a lot of these school shootings. It's rare if it's just, hey, this is this guy. He just worked 9 to 5, loves his family, married husband, got kids, family, and everything. And today he just went out there to a mall and he just shot everybody in there.
Good point.
You never hear that. You always hear, oh, this guy was bullied. He was talked about. Oh, he's a transgender. Oh, he was gay. Oh, he was teased in school. He was made fun of. He was the quiet guy. No one ever talked to him. He was always disrespected. That's what you hear. That's normally kind of the background that you hear in these shootings.
Yeah,
So
the
that's
only
why I lean more towards mental health versus it just being a two-way problem.
The only time I didn't hear that, to my knowledge, is Luigi, the guy who's had the situation in New York.
Oh
But
yes.
that was probably more political than anything.
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
pretty sure once we get to the behind the scenes of the guy who unfortunately deleted poor Charlie Kirk, I think that was just a political issue as
Oh yeah.
well. And those may be the only two where it wasn't some type of mental health issue, but those were I'm out to make a statement.
Yeah. So the thing with that is those are different from mass shooting. Okay, a mass shooting or active shooter is normally like three people and above. So if it's just one person that's basically getting shot, that's just murder or an
Hmm.
assassination attempt,
Hmm.
because you know that is one person, and it's intentional. So we're talking about like active shooter with the mental health issues or things of that nature. Those are just random people. Oh, I went into the grocery store and just shot all kinds of random people. I didn't know any of these people, Joe Blow. But these other guys like the Luigi and people of that nature, that was intentional. He did his research. He did his due diligence as far as where this guy was going to be at and everything to basically, do what it is that he did. Now, do I condone any kind of gun violence at all? No, absolutely not. I feel that it's a defensive message. Defensive tool, and it's something that should be used at absolute last resorts, whether it's to protect yourself or to protect others.
Good point. Now, I also noticed while perusing the news, I don't know if you heard about it, but the guy who was an active threat at the Walmart, and the only thing that shut that situation down, this guy was an active threat with a knife, and he was stabbing several people, and the only thing shut that situation down was the Black Marine with a gun. Now I
Yep.
noticed that that situation got brushed underneath the rug. No one talked about it. No one mentioned it. I didn't see it highlighted on the news like I would see any other incident. Why do you believe that is so?
Because guns are bad. That's
Mm.
going to mess up the whole persona, the whole agenda, which is guns are bad. We don't hear about it's. I think of it like this, like when news loves drama overall in general. So, what do you hear? Or you hear a police officer beat up a black male and did all this and do it, blah, blah, and all this other stuff. Oh man, all cops are bad. So it puts that persona out there. It puts it out there to the public and people that hey, police officers are bad. They are violent. They beat up people. But is it talked about that police officers are actually in the community handing out turkeys, donating clothes, donating shoe drives, donating things and so forth to help better the community? You don't hear about things like that because that's not a juicy topic to actually talk about. We are predisposed to hear drama. Now now think about it. Now anybody who is against guns and everything like that, and if they were in that Walmart and saw this guy coming at them with a knife, and that Marine would have came out and utilized his EDC or his everyday carry weapon and actually eliminated the threat, they would be thankful. They wouldn't be thinking like, ah, you shouldn't have shot him. Maybe you could have just, beat him up or whatever the situation is. No, you would have had a whole different a whole different view on on that topic. But just like I just said previously, before we even asked this question, what are the guns used for? Okay, other than a tool, it's supposed to be used as a defense tool. That if your life is in danger or the threat of others is in danger, that's what it's there for. You're there to defend yourself and others.
Good point. And I also notice when we do have these incidents, and thank God for that Marine who had enough self restraint and one not to delete the guy when he could have easily done so, but he got the guy arrested and he held him until the police arrived. But one thing I do notice about these major incidents when someone utilized the 2A, as you said, as a tool, because that's all it is. It's just a tool. It was one of the greatest tools for self defense. But one thing I would like the news to highlight on is more incidents like that, so we can really have an
Yes.
honest conversation about 2A. Now, one thing I do not like about the great state that we both live in, Maryland, is the red flag laws. Can you break down what a red flag law is and whether or not you're for red flag laws or against red flag laws?
Uh, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of just mm, I'm kind of on the fence with it. Now, we know that Maryland overall in general is a state that was one of the last states that you can even have a everyday carry or you can actually carry a firearm out in public. Um with that being said, before then, matter of fact, let me back up just a little bit. So before the state actually passed everything and became a state that you can actually carry a firearm, they you had to have like three things that happen to either like a threat on your life or you carry like large amounts of
Mm-hmm.
money to the bank
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I think it was three things, man. I forgot. I
You
forgive me.
had to
I forgot
have
what the
threat on your life, and you
threat
had
on
to
your
have it
life.
proven.
Yeah.
Large carriers of money or cash, like you're doing business, or you had to be a PI.
Yes, that there you go. Or
Pretty much
private, yep.
that was the top three
That was
from
it.
forever.
Exactly. So if you didn't have that, you weren't allowed to carry a firearm like you can in some of the other states. So Maryland actually adopted because, and they have like gun laws like NRA and things like that, which violates actually our constitutional right, which is the Second Amendment, which talks about that we have the right to bear arms. So then the argument is like, well, how can we have the right to bear arms, but yet we can't carry it unless these three things have actually taken place in the state of Maryland? So some of the other states now where I'm becoming on the fence with what you just asked me is that now just open carry laws or no background checks, things like that. Now that is something where I'm kind of just like on the fence with because let's be honest, if we go, say you're going to have dinner with your family, right? And you're sitting down there and you're eating with your kids, wife, whatever, and you see somebody with a huge pistol just sitting on their hip while you're eating, you're gonna feel a little bit uneasy, as in like, even if he's legit, he's cool, he's not doing anything, he's not bothering anybody. just because of the persona of actually seeing that firearm on his side. I would, even me myself being in law enforcement, and I carry all the time, but I would still feel a little weary about, like, okay, let me make sure this guy's cool. I'll probably be looking at him every 2 seconds, kind of deal, just when it comes to doing that. So I don't really like the whole open carry. But one thing about the open carry is that it's transparent, and you actually know who has a firearm, because you'll be surprised. People, like, you need to listen to this before you get into these little road rage incidents, or getting into these little personal altercations because somebody cut you off, or somebody stepped on your shoes, or somebody bumped into you when you were walking down the street. Just know it's a high probability that that person is actually carrying a firearm. So let it go. Just let it go, because at the end of the day, you need to go home and be with your family. Go home to your loved ones. Go home and live another day. It's not worth it trying to be Mr. Tough Guy and everything like that. And I'm talking to the people who actually are everyday carrying people who actually carry a firearm for a living. It is your absolute last resort unless there's a threat on your life. Just because you have a gun doesn't make you a tough guy. And now all of a sudden no, nobody can mess with you, or you're somebody who, I don't take crap from nobody because you're actually carrying a firearm. And I know I'm getting a little bit off the subject real quick, but I wanted to share one of the newest videos that I'm actually getting ready to put out. It was a guy that was, what, 21 or 9, he was either 19 or 21 years old. He had a road rage incident, got mad, right? Turn around, hey, I'm not even gonna shoot that guy, I'm gonna just shoot your car. He ended up shooting the guy's car and actually killing an 11-year-old kid. And he has life in jail now as a
Uh,
21-year-old who just got his everyday carry license.
and as well as he should, because
Yep.
one, that's not an act, that's not anything to do with your life or the protection of life. So yeah, as well as you should.
Yeah.
And me personally, as getting back to the red flag issue, is one thing I don't like about that. Tomorrow, someone can look at this podcast and call Maryland and say, "Me and you are both threats to their safety and society." And guess what they're going to do? They're going to take all our stuff away till we can get a lawyer and
Oh,
prove this
absolutely.
random person wrong. And this random person don't got to show up in court. This random person ain't got to testify against us. This random person don't even have to identify themselves, which
Yes.
is always concerning to me when you talk about freedom.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is that all we've ever talked about was just safety and being responsible, just when it comes to just the firearms in general. We don't condone violence or anything of that nature. So that's just it. Like I said, it's the persona and the stigma that they have
Mhm.
of just firearms in general. What did Nas say? Those, probably showing my age. But what did Nas say? People fear what they don't understand.
Yes, sir.
Hate what they can't conquer. That
Yeah.
line.
Yes, sir.
So that's one of the things, just when it comes to just firearms. And the thing is, I had a stigma too until I actually learned it and actually, got involved in it. So you just got
Right.
to take your time and educate yourself with a lot of things. Figure out, like, why? What's the big deal? Why do people love guns? And I'm telling you, about 9.5 times out of 10, the people who I've trained, who've been scared or so forth and had stigmas, like I said, about firearms, the first time they actually did it, they're like, "Wow, this is fun." There's people that take their wives and girlfriends on dates to gun ranges and everything like that, or they have female gun clubs that it's all females in there that's actually that's shooting. So don't knock it till you try it. If you try it and you feel like that's not something for you, there's all kinds of alternative methods that you can actually use to defend yourself. Get a stun gun, taser, OC spray, so forth. But
Uh,
check with your state laws first, though, when it comes to carrying any of that stuff. So
and
I'm
they
not.
got some type of red pellet gun or something
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
I
they got
forgot
that.
what it's
Yep.
called, but I know
Hmm.
a lot of trainers now been selling that because it's 100% legal and it's like a non-lethal round. But I heard
Yes,
it. I heard the kick. It hurts.
absolutely.
If you need to protect your life and get away from someone without deleting
Exactly.
them, this is
Exactly.
this is the option for you. because it's the most safest way you can get away from the person and not hurt them.
Exactly.
Now,
They have one more thing that is just it's crazy, which I think that'll just I don't think it's beneficial at all, but it's almost like it's a fake gun. It's a gun that just makes the sound of a real gun, but it shoots nothing, no projectiles at all.
that's not beneficial.
Yeah, all you're gonna do is make that person mad. And I was like, so when you shoot that, what about if the other person has a real gun?
You're probably going to get deleted.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
before we wrap this up, what laws do you approve of, and what laws are you like on the fence about?
Open carry laws is something that I'm on the fence about. It's just because we're not there yet as a society where it's normal for everybody to just walk around, carrying a gun. Because we're not in the Wild Wild West where everybody was walking around with guns on their side. That's normal. That's normal behavior. Laws that I approve of, it would definitely be as far as the background checks and things like that, to just to make sure that people are mentally stable and everything like that to be able to carry a firearm. Now I know some of the red states, and don't beat me up, guys. I'm a 2A advocate. So some of them have that with that open carry law that they want to do away with the background checks in general. Like you can just go to the store and just buy it. One of the things I like just with the state of Maryland, even though Maryland isn't really a gun friendly state, they allow that 7-day wait period before you can actually pick up your firearm. So if you want to go in there, you want to get a gun and shoot. I love that aspect just for the fact that if it's the heat of the moment, I'm just super duper mad or whatever the situation. I don't have the ability that I can just go walk in the store and just buy a gun right then and there and shoot up whatever or whatever I'm mad at or whatever. The fact that that's a added layer of protection just to make sure that you still want the gun or give you time to cool off, because you never know, you can just cancel your sale. You don't have to actually pick up that gun after that 7 days or so forth. I think that's a huge important thing that's actually in place for the state of Maryland. I'll have to brush up on some of the other states, but because I live in Maryland, so I know that rule, and I've bought numerous guns, and that's what it is that you have to do. So those are some of the things that I actually approve of, just when it comes to firearms in general.
Yeah, and I think the problem, to be honest, for the like, we're two kids from the inner city, and when we grew up, we were always taught that 2A is bad.
Yeah.
2A will get you deleted by some random cop. And I think society as a whole, one of these days, we're going to get away from those myths and realize a well armed society is polite society. And I agree with you. You know what I mean? Some of these people do need to be checked out before we just randomly
Hmm.
hand them the power to take someone's life away. And I know you and I have been checked upside down and around the corner, and
Absolutely.
the federal government is all in our business.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Oh
so
yeah,
hey, random citizen, I know it gives away a little of your freedom, but hey, it keeps all of us safe at the end.
that is
And
true.
I think in closing, the best thing I think we both come in the conclusion of is before you do something random and cause chaos, maybe you should go get some therapy and think about your actions before you crash out.
Absolutely. And it's not just even a gun thing. Therapy actually does wonders for anybody's mental health or mental state being. You don't always have to have something wrong with you just to talk to somebody and bounce some ideas, because it's good to talk to somebody, especially if you don't know the person. Like a therapist or so forth, because you can share something that you can get a non-biased opinion or view from somebody who isn't a close to loved one who typically tells you what you just want to hear. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely. If you have the option of talking to anybody, I encourage it. I talk to people. I talk to a therapist and so forth. So there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Hey, brother. Once again, brother, thank you for your time. We're going to have to do a part two because this was a very interesting conversation. I might add in some of my other gun buddies to, you know what I mean, all love to shoot. We might have to do a little shooting video just to add to the next conversation. But one thing, brother, once again, I'm proud of you, man. I seen the man that you've grown into, and I'm very impressed with all your accomplishments in the world. And I love you, bro.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I love you too, bro.
All right, my guy. We will do this again. Say hello to the kids and wife for me. Salute.
All right. Thank you. Later.